My sister tried to sell my entire rental portfolio while I was out of town. By the time I discovered it, strangers were already walking through my tenants' kitchens, title companies were opening files, and my parents were telling everyone I was cruel for refusing to pay for a wedding that did not even exist. My name is Natalie Hayes, and until that week, I believed the worst thing my family could do was make me feel guilty. I was wrong. The first warning came through a text message from a tenant in Denver. Miss Hayes, why is a realtor showing my apartment to buyers? You never mentioned selling the building. I read the message twice in my hotel room in Chicago, where I was attending a real estate investment conference. 10 minutes earlier, I had been taking notes about long-term portfolio growth. Now I was staring at my phone, wondering how a stranger had keys to a building I owned. I typed back, I am not selling anything. What realtor? Before he answered, another message arrived from Phoenix. Natalie, a woman named Claire said the duplex is being listed for a quick sale. Are we supposed to allow showings? Then Portland. Your agent stopped by with buyers. Our lease runs through next spring. Is something changing? Then Austin. Please confirm whether this house is for sale. A realtor said the owner approved immediate tours. 4 tenants. 4 states. Same story. I called my property manager, Rachel. Rachel, what is happening with my portfolio? What do you mean? Tenants are reporting unauthorized showings. That cannot be right, she said. We have not listed anything. All 8 properties are occupied, current, and performing well. My phone buzzed again. The Phoenix tenant had sent a photo of a business card. Claire Whitman, Whitman Premier Realty, Investment Portfolio Liquidation Specialist. Whitman was my sister's married name. I called Claire immediately. She answered with a bright, polished voice. Natalie, I was going to call you tonight. Why are my tenants saying you are showing my properties? Appose, not surprise. Calculation. Oh, they contacted you already. Claire, do not overreact. Mom and Dad asked me to help handle the sale. We are under pressure. The sale of what? Your rental properties. I stood so quickly the hotel chair scraped the floor. I am not selling my properties. We do not have the luxury of waiting. This is a family emergency. No emergency gives you authority over my assets. She sighed, like I was a selfish child. It is for Olivia's wedding. Olivia was our youngest sister. She had been engaged for 6 months, and my mother had turned the wedding into a royal production. Every week brought photos of venues, flowers, custom invitations, champagne walls, and honeymoon resorts. I had muted the family chat because whenever money came up, somehow my name became the solution. What does Olivia's wedding have to do with my properties? The venue requires $120,000 by next Friday. Dad's retirement account is tied up. The market is unstable. Your portfolio is the only liquid asset the family can access quickly. I almost laughed. The arrogance was unreal. My portfolio is not a family asset. Dad helped you get started. Dad co-signed 3 loans 5 years ago. I refinanced every one. His name is not on the mortgages or titles. Mom has paperwork showing financial involvement. Original involvement is not ownership. Family does not split hairs during emergencies. Fraudsters do. The line went silent. Then Claire's voice hardened. I already have serious interest. The Phoenix duplex has a cash buyer. The Portland triplex has offers coming. If you cooperate, this can close cleanly. You listed my properties? I began the process. You forged the process. You will understand after talking to Mom. I hung up. My hands shook, not from fear, but from rage. I had spent years building that portfolio. 8 properties across Colorado, Arizona, Oregon, and Texas. Nothing inherited, nothing gifted. I worked a finance job, studied markets at midnight, drove weekends to inspect roofs and foundations, negotiated with contractors, learned tenant law, and saved every bonus instead of taking vacations. Those properties were my independence, my retirement, and my proof that I did not need my family's approval. My sister had decided they were a wedding fund. I called my attorney, Marcus Reed. Marcus, I need an emergency injunction. What happened? My sister is trying to sell my rental properties without authorization. He went quiet, explained slowly. I told him everything. The tenant messages, the business card, Claire's call, the claim about my father's old co-signature. When I finished, Marcus said, Natalie, if she actually listed those properties, this is not family drama. It is real estate fraud. Because this crosses multiple states and involves buyers, lenders, title companies, and electronic documents, it can become federal. Federal as in what? Federal as in FBI. That night, I skipped the conference dinner and searched every address. At first, public sites showed nothing. Then a broker friend gave me access to local MLS feeds. There they were, all 8. The Denver fourplex, the Phoenix duplex, the Portland triplex, the Austin house, 2 smaller homes near Tucson, a Fort Collins duplex, my first little rental in Salem. Each listing screamed urgency. Motivated seller, family liquidation, priced below market, quick close preferred, rare portfolio opportunity. The prices made my jaw tighten. The Portland triplex I bought for $430,000 was listed at $389. The Austin house worth at least $320 was listed at $265. The Denver fourplex, worth over $700,000, was listed at $640. Claire was not simply trying to sell them. She was trying to dump them fast, create momentum, and force me to surrender before I could stop her. Friday morning, Marcus called with worse news. She submitted listing agreements. I never signed anything. I know. The signatures appear forged. The room tilted. She forged my signature? Yes. She also submitted a power of attorney document claiming your father retained shared financial authority from the old loans and transferred sale rights to her. That is nonsense. Legally, yes. Practically, it was enough to activate listings before compliance reviewed them. Then came the part that made my blood run cold. She has accepted 3 purchase offers, all contingent on your signature at closing. What happens when I refuse? Buyers may claim damages, inspection fees, financing costs, legal preparation, lost opportunities. You are the victim, but you may still have to untangle the consequences. That is what fraud really does. It does not hit one person. It contaminates everyone nearby. Tenants become afraid. Buyers spend money. Agents schedule inspections. Lenders open files. Title companies prepare searches. Then the victim has to clean up a disaster created by someone else's lies. My mother called 12 times that afternoon. I answered on the 13th. Natalie, stop being selfish, she said. No hello, no concern, just accusation. Mom, Claire forged my signature. She is helping this family. She is committing fraud. How dare you use that word against your sister? What word should I use? Charity? You always act like your success is separate from us. Your father helped you buy those properties. He helped me qualify for better rates years ago. I refinanced. I paid the down payments. I carry the risk. You would not have anything without family. There it was. The sentence they used whenever they wanted access to something I had built. I asked, what exactly is this emergency? Olivia's venue requires full payment. How much? $350,000 total. For a wedding? It is her once-in-a-lifetime moment. And my assets are the family ATM? Do not be cruel. Cruel is sending strangers into my tenants' homes and trying to steal my equity for a party. She started crying, but I knew my mother's crying. Some tears were real, some were tools. These were tools. You are ruining your sister's life, she whispered. No, Claire tried to ruin mine. I hung up. By Sunday, Marcus and I had a response ready. Cease and desist letters, complaints to real estate commissions in every affected state, emergency notices to MLS boards, letters to title companies, direct communication to every buyer's agent, explaining that the listings were unauthorized and under legal review. My property managers notified tenants that no sale existed and no future showing was permitted without written confirmation from me. On Monday morning, I flew to Denver, not to beg my family, to confront the paperwork. At the regional MLS office, Compliance Director Janet Pierce slid a thick folder across the table. Miss Hayes, after your attorney contacted us, we reviewed Claire Whitman's account. Your properties are part of a larger pattern. What larger pattern? In the past 6 weeks, she submitted 17 listings involving properties allegedly controlled by relatives or close family friends. 17? Yes. Your portfolio is the largest group, but not the only one. We found properties tied to an uncle, a brother-in-law, an elderly cousin, and 2 friends of the family. My anger shifted into something colder. Claire had not made one desperate decision. She had built a machine. Janet pointed to the documents. The pattern is consistent. Urgent family need. Claimed shared ownership. Below market pricing. Quick closing language. Power of attorney forms with questionable signatures and inconsistent notarization. I flipped through the folder. Different names, different states, same strategy. Create crisis. Claim authority. Sell fast. Collect commission. On Tuesday afternoon, Janet called again. Miss Hayes, federal investigators would like to interview you. 2 FBI agents met me at Marcus's office. Special Agent Ruiz and Special Agent Bennett. They were calm, direct, and carrying a file thicker than Janet's. Agent Ruiz began, "Your complaint helped us connect several cases into one interstate real estate fraud investigation." "How many cases?" Agent Bennett opened the file. At this stage, over 40 properties in 12 states. I stopped breathing for a second. 40? We believe Claire Whitman has been forging or manipulating authorization documents for approximately 18 months. They explained the scheme. Claire searched for people with valuable property and some family connection she could exploit. A parent who once co-signed, a sibling who helped with a down payment, an older relative with messy estate documents, a friend who trusted her. Then she created or exaggerated a crisis. A wedding, medical bill, tax issue, failed business, or retirement problem. Relatives pressured the actual owner. Claire produced paperwork that looked official. By the time the owner objected, buyers were invested, inspections were booked, and everyone begged the owner not to destroy the deal. It was social pressure wrapped in legal fraud. "What about Olivia's wedding?" I asked. Agent Ruiz looked at me carefully. "There is no $350,000 venue contract." The words landed like a punch. "Olivia confirmed she never booked that venue," he continued. "No payment was due next Friday. No deposit deadline existed. So the emergency was fake." "Yes. We believe it was fabricated to force your cooperation after offers were secured." I thought of my mother's tears, my father's silence, Claire's confidence. Family emergencies require family solutions. No, scammers require victims. What did Claire stand to earn from my properties? Approximately $85,000 in commissions and referral fees. And overall, more than $2 million in questionable commission income tied to this pattern. $2 million built from lies, forged signatures, and families manipulated into attacking one another. The agents asked for everything: tenant messages, screenshots, call logs, voicemails, emails, refinancing records, title documents, and proof that my father had no present ownership. Every timestamp mattered. That evening, my father called. "Natalie, this has gone too far." I laughed once. "Federal agents are investigating forged documents across 12 states. It went too far before I complained. Claire says this is a misunderstanding. Claire forged my name. She showed us paperwork, and you believed it because it benefited you." Silence. Then he said, "We thought you could afford to help." There it is. That is not what I meant. It is exactly what you meant. You did not verify the venue. You did not check title. You did not call me. You decided my portfolio was available because you wanted it. She is your sister, and I am your daughter. That was our final real conversation. The investigation moved quickly. Within 2 weeks, Claire's brokerage suspended her. Within a month, her licenses were frozen in multiple states. Then the indictment came: wire fraud, mail fraud, interstate transportation of fraudulent documents, conspiracy to commit real estate fraud, and identity misuse. The media simplified it into one brutal sentence: realtor tried to sell relatives' homes without permission. Reporters called it family-based property fraud. The FBI called it a sophisticated interstate scheme. I called it theft, wearing lipstick and a blazer. I focused on my tenants. I called every household. I apologized for the confusion, even though I did not cause it. I promised no one was losing their home. I gave rent credits to tenants disturbed by showings, replaced locks where needed, and created a new rule: no agent could access any property without written approval from both me and the management company. One Denver tenant said, "We believed her because she seemed so confident." That haunted me. Fraudsters do not always look suspicious. Sometimes they carry business cards. Sometimes they speak gently. Sometimes they say family while reaching for your wallet. After sentencing, Marcus asked whether I wanted to sue my parents. Legally, I probably could have. They had repeated false statements, pressured me to accept fake sales, and ignored every warning sign because the story gave them access to money. But lawsuits do not always bring peace. Sometimes they only keep rotten people sitting at your table longer. So I chose distance. I changed accountants. I changed emergency contacts. I moved every property document into a secure digital vault with access logs. Every deed, refinance record, insurance policy, lease, and management agreement was backed up twice. I also sent written notices to county recorders asking to be alerted about suspicious filings connected to my name. Weak people hear a story like this and only remember the drama. Smart people extract the checklist. Protect your assets before someone tests your boundaries. The hardest part was accepting that my family had not been confused. They had been willing. Maybe Claire lied to them, but they wanted the lie to be true. They wanted my work to become their solution. That is the poison. People who feel entitled to your success will call your boundaries betrayal. 1 year later, I returned to Denver for an annual inspection. My tenant opened the door, smiled, and said, "Glad you are still the owner." I looked at the hallway Claire once walked through with fake authority and realized something powerful. Ownership is not only a legal status, it is a discipline. You own what you protect. You keep what you are willing to defend. My sister forgot that paper trails beat performances. My parents forgot that guilt is not a deed. And I learned that the word no, when backed by evidence, can save everything you have built. That lesson cost me sleepless nights, but it bought my future back more safely than any apology ever could. 6 months later, Claire pleaded guilty. The courtroom was smaller than I expected. She looked different without the professional armor. No perfect smile. No polished confidence, just a woman in a navy dress standing beside her attorney while the judge described the damage. Over 40 properties affected. Multiple buyers misled. Families pressured. Documents forged. Commissions collected. Trust destroyed. When allowed to speak, Claire cried. She said she was under financial pressure. She said she convinced herself she was helping families unlock trapped equity. She said she never meant to hurt anyone. I felt nothing. By then, I understood that some people are not sorry for the damage. They are sorry the performance ended. Claire received 4 years in federal prison and was ordered to pay restitution to affected buyers and victims. Her real estate license was permanently revoked in every state where she had operated. Civil lawsuits followed. Her brokerage publicly cut ties. My parents avoided charges by cooperating with investigators and testifying about Claire's manipulation, but cooperation did not rebuild trust. My mother mailed me a letter months later. She wrote that she missed me, that family should forgive, and that everything had become bigger than anyone intended. I read it once and put it in a drawer. Forgiveness is not a reset button. Blood is not a contract granting people access to your life. Olivia postponed her wedding indefinitely. Not because of money, but because the scandal swallowed the fantasy. Her fiancé's family wanted distance. Her friends were embarrassed. The grand celebration used as bait never happened. As for my properties, I kept everyone. The Denver fourplex stayed full. The Phoenix duplex gained value. The Portland triplex produced stronger cash flow. The Austin house became one of my best performers. I repaired tenant trust, tightened legal protections, and built a rule I will never break. No family member gets informal access to financial records. No verbal authority. No blind trust. Because the most dangerous scams are not always built by strangers. Sometimes they are built around your own dinner table. Sometimes the person trying to rob you knows your birthday, your childhood fears, and exactly which guilt button to press. Claire thought old favors created ownership. She thought fake urgency would make me panic. She thought my parents' pressure would make me fold. She thought I would stay silent to protect the family name. She was wrong. I chose documents. I chose attorneys. I chose investigators. I chose the truth. And in the end, she lost everything she tried to steal.